All right, guys, we're kind of getting a late start to the day here, and go hit some chest and tries. And I think we're gonna do a couple more like focusing on presses today than fly movements. I'll have a couple in there, but I think I'm gonna. There's a new chest movement I want to try out, so we're gonna mostly focus on our pressing movements and the contraction of the muscle, holding it in that squeeze. Um, and we're gonna see how that goes. Tricep, I'm not quite sure what I want to do with triceps yet. We'll do them. I'm gonna do those separate after I hit chest. Um, kind of split those two up. We will see chest day. I can kind of eat a little bit closer to when I work out. Legs, I try to space that out. I try to give myself like an hour or two beforehand. Um, but with like chest, arms, stuff like that, even back movements, for me, I don't need as much time to digest, and that's just because I don't feel like there's not as much pressure going on. I'm not using my core as much as I would on a leg day. And that's something on leg day, I'm starting to add squats back in because primarily I was just using leg press. Um, for me, I like the fact that I'm able to focus on my quads and isolate the. It's more of an isolated movement, and then I can target certain muscles better. So I am starting to add squats back in. The fact that it uses your core, your back, on a lot of different stabilizing muscles that you don't quite use in in a leg press, and that goes with a lot of isolated movements where it kind of takes away a bunch of smaller muscles. So if you were to do um, Smith machine versus like a bench press, there's the fact that it's on that linear movement on the Smith machine. That's a lot of back and forward that you don't have to really control. So I try to switch it up here and there. I think it's good sometimes to have that isolated movement, and I think other times it's good to kind of put it back, the more like compound movements back into your lift, just so you can build up your other smaller muscles. That way, I mean, you know if you want to ever go back to doing squats, you're kind of keeping your muscles in and joints like up to speed. If you were to only do leg press for a year, you're not going to be able to do that weight with a squat. So that's what I'm saying is not necessarily taking squats or like always doing squats, but maybe once every 3 months doing it for a couple weeks instead of leg press. Um, I find that that's helped me maintain my strength in like a complete sense. Right. I know we said we're not going to do any fly movements, but I like to start off with these cable flies kind of as like uh, I mean, as a warm up, but I like to do it for pre exhaustion. So I like to get really good stretch with these, and I find it tends to make me have a better mind muscle connection um, going forward. So I like to do 6 at the bottom and 6 at the top, and you'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. Okay, so we're gonna do 1 or 2 more sets of these, and we'll move on to some pressing movements. Okay, second set. A little bit heavier on this one. Make sure we get a full Let me do one more of those. Or do one more. Okay, last set of these. That feels better. Okay, let's go do some pressing movements. Okay, I've got something to show you guys. This is such a weird bench. Okay, so you see this? Watch. To adjust the seat, instead of the bottom, this back part bending down, the whole thing raises up, the front of it. So essentially, for me, I'm a little short guy. So I go from being able to like fully touch the ground. Now the front raises up instead of going down, and now my like on my incline press, this feels weird. Instead of like being able to firmly plant on the ground. Um, but yeah, so if you guys have a bench like this in your gym, I'm sorry for you. Um, that sucks. And not even to mention, the two parts of the bench don't even come together. There's an inch gap right there that are just like your butt just sinks into. It feels so weird. Okay, we're gonna hit some incline chest press. This is one of my favorite movements for chest. Targeting the upper chest is, I mean, it's a lot of people don't target their upper chest by either just simply doing flat barbell bench or not having a good mind muscle connection. I mean, you can do an incline bench, and if you don't have a good mind muscle connection, you know, you could just be using most of your front delt. Um, a, a good way to have to help with that is if you're starting out and you don't, if you're pressing, um, I recommend getting a spotter, and not even just a spot, but just sit here and like touch your chest right here, this upper part of your chest. If you can just have somebody do that while your pecs are contracting, that kind of like signals to your brain, hey, this should be moving, this should be contracting. So that's a little tip. How to grow your upper chest. It's kind of how you get like a shelf, um, and it still is going to grow your bottom and the lower chest. I mean your middle and lower chest as well. I think Jeff Nipper did a study on it. So whatever your guys' opinion are on that, you can go check him out. That's not fun. The sun's right in my eye. 9 or 10 reps. We're gonna try to find a different bench. That bench did not go well. Kind of saw me take a minute to get set up on that. That did not do the greatest. We're gonna do 1 or 2 more sets of this as well. All right, guys. Well, now I feel like an asshole because right in front of the dumbbells, but the sun was right in my eyes, and that did not go well. That was very distracting. So let's get this set done so I can get out of the way. Oh yeah. Also could not find any other kind of bench, so we're stuck with this. Stupid. Okay, I'm just slipping down this bench. This bench. I don't know if you can see it there. Started getting some arch on my back, which I try not to do because that essentially just turns it into a flat chest press, right? And I'm just slid down. So I'm gonna hit my next thing a little bit harder. All right, we're gonna do some shoulder press here. I was talking earlier about free weights, bars, stuff like that. You can target smaller muscles that maybe you can't on this. Like so, right here, this press is very. This press is very controlled. Like the machine, I don't have to control whether it goes behind my head. Maybe if I'm doing a standard chest press with shoulder press with dumbbells, a lot of times people don't they stay away from that because they don't have the stability and they might move back like this and get injured. Rightfully so. I would stay away from that too. But I recommend this to anybody starting off with lighter weights just to build that strength and I mean, it's kind of like practicing anything. You're going to get better at it over time, right? So strengthening those stability muscles is going to help with that. But um, where this is nice is I can kind of focus on different muscle groups. So I really am on this, even though it's a shoulder press. It's, depending on how I move my body, I am going to get a little bit of chest activation, which I want because it's chest day. So whereas my incline dumbbell press, I'm really focusing on being my chest. This one, I'm kind of in between it being my front delt, side delt even, and my upper chest. So that's just kind of a chest press machine and a shoulder press machine are not the same, but depending on where you position your chest, you can kind of make it target multiple muscles. So on this, I'm trying to go a little bit heavier, just because I didn't get the level of exertion that I wanted on those incline dumbbells. So let's see how this one goes. I might actually try go here. Oh, definitely too heavy. But I did not want to give up immediately. And I might be starting over too. That's too low. We'll start here. That was not too bad. I don't know what I did at the end of there. We'll probably do one more set of that. All right. Set one more of these. We got one more chest exercise I want to hit after this. And I'll probably only do one tricep exercise, but we're going to go complete failure, absolutely kill it, bunch of drop sets, stuff like that. So total failure on that. But let's go ahead, get this shoulder one out of the way. I don't think this is good grip, guys. I don't know why we gripped. I don't know about that one. Let's do another drop set here. Oh, you guys might have seen me change my hands a little bit. So right here, felt a little bit awkward because as my hands were traveling up, my elbows were outside. So something I like to do is align my wrist up with my elbow. I travel, my elbow's coming inside my wrist. I still have a lot of power there. Nice. probably been 15 minutes. I was helping out some guys in the gym, giving them some advice. All right, this is a new one for me. We're doing like a pressing movement on the cables, which is not something I'm used to. You know, I like it. I like it a lot, but I'm not 100% sure what weight to go with. I haven't done this one before. We're just gonna steadily increase. I don't want to wear myself out too much on this, but also don't know where to put my feet on this one. It's a little bit awkward. Having my feet out kind of makes it feel a little uneven. Um, but I don't feel as, stable without that foot back. So we're gonna try this one right. I really, really like that contraction at the bottom, especially crossing my hands, alternating it. But I do not know about that one. That set. If you call that a set, I'm not quite sure. I'm gonna hit one more of those. This one's pretty sloppy. But we'll hit one more set of that. Do our triceps till failure, and then we'll go see how the pump is. Probably not gonna be the best today. Okay, let's get one more of these knocked out. Um, I do think that I like having that weight coming from behind me. I thought about it a little bit. I was like, okay, maybe, just maybe, I'm supposed to be doing it right here. But I think it needs to come from behind me, right? So a little finisher right there. Let's go do triceps. All right, let's see how this one works. Okay. Oh, holy. Okay, lowering the weight a little bit, and we're gonna do more. Oh, holy shit. That's great. Okay, now we're gonna go put it on this last weight and grab this handle right here. Now we're gonna do some single arms. All right. Oh. Oh. Can't go any lower than that. I'm just gonna hit both here. That's fun. Okay. Hold on. A little bit harder than that. Okay, maybe not that hard. Holy. That was a good finisher. Let's go check that pump.
Which one is better in terms of both the money and money? I think that dramatically. What? Chest? Side? Just a pretty. The tricep finishers do. Tricep is pretty. It's all this need to finish because of my body fat. So it's so high. Triceps are both big, but I know the shoulders a little bit when I was teaching guys. Shoulders better. saying the preacher. I don't know how to get it, but really interesting. Try some more. Right. Well, some progress. I think backwards. See.
All right, post workout for today. We post up workout talk. Get out of here real quick. Hey, that was a pretty successful chest workout. Probably would have liked to see a different exercise in there instead of that last one. Not saying that I didn't want that in there, but definitely felt like I could have pushed a little more weight on something else. And the shoulder press machine did not work what I wanted it to. I think I arched a little bit too much on that. Same thing with my incline press. I was arching a little bit more than expected. Again, I am not used to this equipment, and I do not 100% like it. I definitely prefer other equipment that I've used. That bench was very high and very stiff. Did not feel secure or like stable in it, whereas I would have in maybe a different bench, maybe a different model or different kind. But posed down. Sorry about that. I listened to a little bit of it, and the microphone was not on the noise cancellation mode, which I think it kind of sounds a little bit weird, but I'd say it's useful not to have all the background noise in it. On the car rides, I don't think it's 100% necessary. I might try it in the future if you guys think. Actually, let me know what you guys think if you guys watch this far. Now it's in noise cancellation mode. If you guys prefer it with the noise cancellation mode, let me know. I know definitely in the gym it helped a lot. Um, I kind of like hearing the plates bang around, But if it's something like that, like where it's like a busy one, I don't mind putting it on. I know it's not fun to listen to a YouTube video with a bunch of background noise. So again, just let me know whatever you guys think about the microphone situation. Um, Let me know as far as posing, what you know. I think posing's kind of a cool. I don't want to say art, but I think it's kind of fun to to make it more of a show than just ooh this muscle that muscle. Kind of putting them together is a little more poetic. It's a little more artful. So we're gonna definitely try to learn a couple poses for that. Um, but but yeah, definitely gonna look into that chest press on the cables a little bit more because I did like it. This is the reason I tried it, and the reason I will try it again is the amount of contraction you have. The travel inward. There's so much um, travel inward, right, where your chest. All right. So what I was saying um, is I like the amount of travel inward that has. It has a contraction that a lot of machines can't get. There's a Nautilus like incline press machine that does do really well with it. My gym doesn't have one, neither did this one. So that's kind of why I wanted to see about that cable technique, because there's a difference between just pushing straight out. Obviously, it uses your chest, but whenever you're able to push out and bring that chest in, I mean, just feel, put your hand on your pec and do that. Straight out versus in. You'll feel it contract even more. Um, and that's part of the reasons I cross my hands too, is because that's extra range of motion. Well, anyway, we're gonna go try to catch up on some calories and continue this bulk. I'm not. The hardest part about the bulk is the eating. I'll have to document that at some point. Yeah. Hope you guys have a great day.